So, the last few days, we're on what we are now, Wednesday. The last few days, I've not been the one, I must say. The energy levels are just extremely low. So low. So I thought, let's talk about how to actually boost your energy levels and how to actually be feeling better every day. Physically and in your body and mentally, I guess. And the one thing I know for sure that I haven't done this week, and for me, which is the number one factor in how I feel and how much energy I have, and also what personality I have for that day, what mood I'm kind of going to be in. There's one factor that determines that, and it's sleep. For me, if I don't get good sleep, I'm done. I'm sort of done for the day. And it does baffle me, because you've got some people who also feel like that with 9 hours of sleep, with 6 hours of sleep. And then you've got people like bloody Jocko Willie, who on like sometimes 4 hours of sleep feels great. And sure, it might be a mental battle, might be a mental thing. But for me, if I don't get, I say at least 7 hours. 8 hours is great. 7 hours minimum. The day's not going to feel so good. And especially, if I get 6 hours, I think I've been getting 6 hours for the past 3 days. When I start doing that, energy levels just dip dramatically. When you're stacking bad nights on bad nights. And for me, it's not the fact that I can't sleep, because when I was younger, I used to have that issue. That I couldn't actually fall asleep. Whereas now, I fall asleep like that. There's no chance I'm not falling asleep. It's just, I'm doing things, and by the time I get in bed, it's 12 o'clock, 11, half 11, something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't struggle with the quality of sleep that I do get. But some things that helped my sleep, to help me fall asleep instantly and to have a great sleep, for me, some of the important things that I do is I wear earplugs. That's number one. I put an eye mask on. That's number two. I put a nose strip on, because you want oxygen. You want to get as much oxygen in your body as you possibly can every day, every night. And then I put some mouth tape on, so I breathe through my nose, because you get more oxygen when you're breathing through your nose. And for me, and did I say take magnesium? Don't know. And I take some magnesium before I go to sleep. And to me, I can tell the difference between when I do and when I don't do those sort of things. The sleep is just different. And to me, I've wanted to, you almost want to maximize how great of a sleep you get when you're not getting enough hours. That's how I look at it. And these things do help me. I don't want to be sat in bed for an hour not falling asleep. Just some of the worst things ever. But another thing for me that gets my energy levels up is what I eat. It's my diet. I'm on Paul Saladino's diet, where it's carnivore with fruit. I'm eating meat, dairy, fruit, honey, eggs. That's me. That's my diet during the week, especially. There's no wiggle room really, unless there's an occasion on, or temptations get over me. But the majority of my time, that's what I'm eating. And I can also tell a dramatic difference between how I feel and what foods I eat, because it's the fuel source. You'd be crazy not to think that the fuel source that you're putting in your body affects your energy. It depends, with your car, It depends what fuel source you put in it to how well it actually runs. So for me, food is such a key part, and it's probably one of the hardest parts because there is so much temptation. There is so much temptation around us to eat sugary foods, to eat bad food, to go call it a Mackey's, to go get a KFC or something like that, to eat a pie, you know what I mean? There's all these temptations, so that is one of the hardest things to do. And along with diet, I don't know which one to place higher here, but exercise for me is just as important as diet. You know, not necessarily for losing weight and putting muscle on, but for energy levels. If you don't exercise, if you don't work your body, use your body, it almost isn't gonna work for you. It's gonna shut down a bit. And for me, I realised that there's two factors of why exercise is important. Well, three factors actually. One is mental. You know what I mean? Those thoughts that are always in your head that cycle and cycle, and the stress that you're under, it either disappears or lowers when you do exercise. It gives you a break. If your exercise is hard enough, it almost distracts you. For me, I compare it to the same as it's a healthy version of a TikTok scroll. When you get into that hole of scrolling, you know, you get distracted. When you watch a movie, you get distracted. Series, you get distracted. It's just after it, you feel like shit because you don't feel like you've done anything. Whereas exercise, you get distracted and you feel great at the end of it because you know you've done something worthwhile. And then the second thing exercise does is it knackers your body out physically. You know, I think sometimes, you know, I remember in the 6-week holidays and stuff in high school, when we was on our break in the summer, pardon me, you know, sometimes you wouldn't get to sleep purely just because you've not actually done anything that day. You might have been playing on your Xbox all day. You're not actually knackered. You've not actually used any energy, so you're not tired. So for me, if I'm struggling to sleep, it's kind of a sign you've not worked hard enough. That's how I see it now. It's like, well, how are you not tired? You're clearly not working hard enough. And that's if you want sleep and, you know, if you need sleep. Because when I'm knackered, I remember when I was younger, every time I played football, I always had a great night's sleep that night because I'm knackered physically. And it always works out that helps for sure. Now I've got to try and remember the third point of why exercise is great, which I can't remember at all. Well, we'll stick on two, shall we? Great memory. Yeah, anyway, you know, so exercise is something that boosts my energy. And another thing that boosts my energy is you've also got to relax. And you've got to manage how you relax. Because at the end of the day, you want to be happy. At the end of the day, you want to be living a life that you want to live. You want to do things that you want to do. Whatever that is to make you happy and make you comfortable and make you feel at peace. You've got to be doing those things, or your life's just one big stress. And your cortisol is spiked. And you have no idea what's going on. Because you're so stressed. Your body's in a state of stress that it's saying, I can't sleep. We've got so much going on. That's why you go to bed and you've got so many thoughts on your mind. Because you're almost dealing with your stress. The way you're dealing with your stress is to just keep on thinking about it, to try and find the solution. But what you're missing is that you're never going to get rid of stress. Stress is always going to be there. And you want stress. Stress helps us. You look at how do you build muscle and everything. You've got to stress the body for it to grow. And that's the same with you. So you don't want to eliminate stress, but you want to manage how you deal with it. And if the way you deal with it is you have to solve it, you have to get rid of it, you don't want it there at all, then your brain's going to be in a constant state of thinking and a constant state of, we need to get rid of this. But other ways, if you've got this mental, when I was younger, sometimes you go to sleep and you've got this constant thought pattern happening, and you've got to break it up. And for me, sometimes reading does that. Sometimes I've watched too many films. Sometimes you've had too much stimulus, and you've got to de-stimulate yourself because you're overstimulated. So you've got to find ways to do that. Going on a walk, reading a book. It's these things that add up through the day, or things you do at night before sleep. Light a candle. You change the environment. You don't observe so much light. You get your body physically prepared for sleeping. You see these videos that say, watch a sunset, and your body basically activates that it's time to sleep. Or it's going to be time to sleep. So there's also loads of these little things that add up to you getting a good night's sleep and to boosting your energy the next morning for me. And the foundation, I think, is sleep. I could get rid of all those other things, but have a great night's sleep. And I'm probably 50% of the way there in energy levels. And then there's other little things, when it comes to diet and stuff. If you don't know what diet to follow, you've got to look at your blood test. That's almost the only way you're going to do it. You got to look at blood tests, and you got to say, which levels do I want at these rates, and why do I want these levels in my blood test to be at these rates? What studies have shown this? And for me, this is why I follow the diet that I do, because the guy who I follow talks about all the studies, talks about what levels his blood should be at, and why you want this, and where's the evidence. And so that's what you got to look at, not just objectively, not just subjectively. You've got to look objectively at what's actually happening to it, because you might have a gene mutation somewhere that means you react differently to this or that. You might not take magnesium and feel relaxed at the end of the day. Who knows? You might be different. But I guess they're just the things that boost my energy levels. And when you don't have high energy, when you don't have, and high energy is not going crazy and a big personality. For me, high energy is just being steady, just feeling great all day. Don't have to have a massive high or a massive low, just being steady. Steady feeling of we can keep going and we can keep doing these things. And to have that, do you know what I mean? It does change your life, because it changes how each day feels. And then, you match that with you actually have a bad day. Sometimes you can have a bad day purely just because of the things that you've done. And then you can have a bad day because of things that have happened to you. And if you can control and reduce the amount of days that you have where it's kind of your fault, you feel a lot better. You feel much better about your life when you boost your energy levels. You can actually properly live life. But yeah, when I've been in these last 3 days of being in a low mood, low energy and mood, you then start to appreciate what the things you were doing. And what things, I forgot to do this, I need to get more sleep, I need to do this, you've cheated a bit here, do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, you didn't put that on, you didn't try this, you didn't, what you've been doing here. There's all these tests you can do, and when you're getting in a lower mood, you need to keep track of, I've not done this, I've not been getting sleep, so no wonder my energy levels are like that. And then you don't have to blame yourself and say, get into this cycle of you're not good enough. It's just easier. But yeah, anyway, peace.